Hi, I'm Nick Rummel with Caterpillar Preventive Maintenance. You can come on with me as I finish my daily walk-around inspection of this machine. Now what I'm looking at is the corner bits, the cutting edge. I'm looking at the blade. It's all found here on this daily inspection, found on safety.cat.com. This is the daily inspection that should be done every day before we start this machine and put it to work. So as we continue on with the blade, again, looking at corner bits, all the hardware, everything seems to be intact. I've got no big holes in the blade. Blade doesn't look like it's getting thin. I'm going to continue on over here and kind of look at all the blade linkage, the push bar linkage, cylinders. Everything seems to be nice and tight. I'm going to go ahead and look at the undercarriage. I notice that my track pads are getting a little bit wore. The trailing edge of my track pads are showing quite a bit of wear. Also, this idler is probably down to about 40% wear. But the other thing I'm looking for is any oil leaks, oil on the tracks. Since this machine's been sitting all night, if one of these rollers were leaking or the idler was leaking, we'd see some oil on the tracks. I'm going to keep moving back. I'm looking at the carrier roller, also looking at the equalizer bar, looking at the links themselves, making sure that the links themselves are in good enough shape to run today. I'm also going to make it all the way back here to the sprocket. I want to look and make sure that all these sprocket segment bolts are in place. If any of these bolts are missing, what can happen is that sprocket or the sprocket segment will get loose and start wearing. And it'll create a wear pattern in the hub of the final drive, and you'll never be able to tighten that sprocket segment again. The bolts will always come loose. I want to look down here at the pivot shaft, make sure there's no leaks. Look at the rear idler. Also, something that we want to do is we want to make sure we look at the rollers as well. Now I noticed on this one, I'm missing a bolt on this roller, and also this bolt's loose. That's something I need to get taken care of right away. So let's go on up into the cab and see what we can find up there. Okay, well, as we climb up the cab, you never want to climb up in the cab when you have something in your hand, and you always want to maintain 3 points of contact. I don't know if you noticed, but this is the fresh air cab filter. We want to clean that periodically, especially if we're running in some wet weather or very dusty conditions. Once we're inside the cab, we want to make sure that all the controls work, everything functions normally, all the lights, and especially all of our warnings. There's another cab air filter right down here in the bottom. That is for our recirculation air. Now finally, when we're in the cab, we also need to check our seat belt. Now you can't see it, but there is a white tag right down here on this seat belt. It gives us the date of manufacture. Caterpillar recommends that 5 years after the date of manufacture, this seat belt should be replaced, or 3 years of use. Now, we also want to check the latch, the part that the seat belt goes into, to make sure it's going to be safe to operate too. The one thing we haven't covered is the engine compartment. Now, you can imagine on our daily checklist, it does have a section for the engine compartment where we will check all of the fluid levels and looking for hose rubs and belts and things like that. But for more information, you can visit safety.cat.com, look in your operation and maintenance manual, or contact your local CAT dealer.